Greetings, sports fans, one and all, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Tacklezone. This is our series of Blood Bowl battle reports for Season 2 of Tales from the Tacklezone, and this game is taking place in the New World Conference of our league, and this one's actually fought between two different teams. On the left-hand side, we have the merciless Thundervalley Greenskins, played by my friend Mama Khan, which is a Black Orc team, and on the right-hand side here, we have the Imperial Nobility team, the Bogenhafen Barons, played by my friend King Khalifa. So this is game number 2 of our league. At the same time, this is the very first game of the New World Conference. So to celebrate that, we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we will show you photos of both teams as well as the rosters. If you want to see exactly what they're bringing for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your own leisure. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. As you can see, this is a fully crowded gang with teams and fans on both sides of it. So let's go and talk about our fan factors real quick. For the Bogenhafen Barons, which will be represented by the red dice, over on the right-hand side, they have a fan factor of 2, so they don't have very many Fairweather fans showing up today at today's game. Whereas opposed to the Thundervalley Greenskins, they have a fan factor of 4. So because we did the coin toss, my friend King Khalifa will be kicking off the ball directly towards the Thundervalley Greenskins. So the Thundervalley Greenskins will receive in the first half of the game. As you can see, we already kicked off the ball already. The result for this was Ophius referee, in which case player number 3 for the Bogenhafen Barons was actually knocked out. And when the ball scattered over here in the top wide zone here next to these Black Orcs, as well as this Goblin Bruiser as well. So now that the kickoff table is done, we go directly to the top of turn number 1 for Mama Khan in our very first New World Conference game. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 for the Black Orcs and the Thundervalley Greenskins. And right off the bat, disaster strikes for my friend Mama Khan. Mama Khan activates player number 2, Grubrata the Invincible, which is one of her Black Orc blockers. He actually does a blitz going directly into player number 10 of the Imperial Nobility team. That player's name is Griswold Kaltenbach. Managed to get a both down result. So because of that, my friend Mama Khan decided to use her brawler skill for that character in order to try to stop that. So she re-rolled one of her both down results because she got it twice. Unfortunately got it again. So just like that, player number 10, Griswold Kaltenbach, is knocked out. So because of that, he is in the penalty box and then just kind of recovering right now until, of course, he can come in at the end of the drive. And at the same time, causes an immediate turnover right off the first blow off for the players for the Thundervalley Greenskins. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 1 for the Bogenhafen Barons. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 for the Bogenhafen Barons, and right off the bat, my buddy King Khalifa decides to activate player number 1, Leo Utenbach, which is actually one of his throwers. He actually skirts along the top of the wide zone here, going directly past the prone player of Grubrata the Invisible, and actually tries to go for it twice in order to pick up the ball. The first time manages to do it no problem, but the second time, though, manages to fail his 4-up checks because he does stumble and fall, which of course brings an immediate turnover, leading us to turn number 2 for the Thundervalley Greenskins. Alright, so starting with turn number 2 for the Thundervalley Greenskins from Mama Khan. So it's kind of a short-lived one, however most of the action took place up on the top of the white zone. What I have is that player number 10, that is the Goblin Bruiser Bernak, actually did a move up and actually picked up the ball, managed to successfully pass their initiative test, and carried all the way to their maximum allowance along the top wide zone. At the same time, Black Orc players number 2 as well as player number 6, player number 2, Grubrata the Invincible, and player number 6, Urk Headtaker, actually move up in positions in order to kind of create a perimeter around player number 10, Bernak, in order to protect him from actually being tackled at any situation. However, the big mistake happened, of course, with player number 11, though, for the Black Orcs. This is Goblin player number 11, Golka, the Goblin Bruiser. He actually tries to move up and attempt to do a blitz action to go up against player number 2, Axelbald Kramer, which is the thrower for the Bogenhafen Barons. Unfortunately, though, when you try to get out of the little tackle zone there for this player over here on the top here, for player number 12, The character's name is Harmon Tuber. Unfortunately for him, though, the little guy Golka failed his agility test, and of course stumbled, causing an immediate turnover for turn number 2 for the Thundervalley Greenskins. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Bogenhafen Barons, and actually quite a bit happened here directly on the top of the wide zone. First of all, the player bodyguard number 11, Bart Nittok from the Bogenhafen Barons, actually throws a block directly into Black Orc player number 3, Ujvis Edcrack, and managed to get a power result on him and pushing it back and also falling through. What that did from there, it kind of freed up some of the things that took place over here. First of all, player number 3, the Blitzer, Leopold Schwalb from the lineman, rather, from the Bogenhafen Barons, actually managed to get back on his feet again. And player number 8, Jenna Edelhoff, who's a lineman for the Bogenhafen Barons, actually did a blitz action, moving from the line of scrimmage directly into player number 10, Bernack, the Goblin Bruiser, matching the ball to, of course, flying out of the air because of a power result. Now, the ball actually bounced several times between all these different players, eventually settling on player number 2, Gunbrata the Invincible, who managed to get possession of the ball as well. And that pretty much makes up most of the activations that took place for turn number 2 for the Bogenhafen Barons. That brings us directly to the top of turn number 3 for the Thundervalley Greenskins, and this is actually after all their activations. For the most part, as you can see, most of the guys are pretty much pushing back the Bogenhafen Baron from the line of scrimmage. At the same time, we also saw more Goblin Bruisers moving up in order to support their team members. However, most of the action that took place is primarily up here on the top portion of the wide zone. For the most part, the Goblin Bruiser up here, player number 10, Bernack, actually moves up in order to mark player number 1, Leo Utenbach of the Bogenhafen Barons, to kind of add a little bit of support for player number 2, which is Gunbrata the Invincible, one of the Black Orcs, who has possession of the ball and is slowly making his way directly to the end zone. However, as you can see here, most of the players got pushed along the line of scrimmage. However, they do have to worry about this player over here, player number 4, which is a blitzer from the Bogenhafen Barons. His name is Sigrid Verts. He is actually wide open without being marked by anybody. He could actually pull the blitz directly onto Gunbrata the Invisible if he doesn't watch out. So with that being said, that takes directly to the top of turn number 3 for the Bogenhafen Barons. Alright, so that's actually the top of turn number 3 for the Bogenhafen Barons for King Khalifa, and that's exactly what ended up happening. Like I mentioned before, he started activating Sigrid Verts, player number 4, as blitzer. He does a blitz directly into Gunbrata the Invincible, but unfortunately got a player down result. So because he goes crashing in the ground instead, causing immediate turnover directly towards the Thundervalley Greenskins. So with that, we go directly to the top of turn number 4 for the Thundervalley Greenskins, and as you can see in this photo over here, Gunbrata the Invincible actually goes for it twice and makes it directly towards the end zone, getting a touchdown for the Thundervalley Greenskins, and the very first touchdown so far for the New World Conference, and actually taking the lead at the same time. Now, my buddy Mama Khan did have to use one of her rerolls in order to get that last one off, so because of that, she did burn up one of her rerolls in order to do so. But at the same time, though, scoring her first touchdown for the New World Conference. So that being said, my friends are going to re-rack their players and reset them up and do another kickoff. Alright, so that takes us directly to the end of the drive and the beginning of a new kickoff. As you can see in this video clip here, that my friend Mama Khan decided to deploy all of her players along the line of scrimmage just to make sure that she can go on the blitz on this one, looks like. At the same time, you can see that the Bogenhafen Barons also have defensive players along the main line of scrimmage. They also have 1 player in the end zone and 2 players in the top, but they're also being marked by Black Orcs for the most part. Unfortunately for my friend King Khalifa, though, player number 10, Blitzer Griswold Kaltenbach, is still knocked out, so because he is playing at a bit of a handicap. So the kickoff goes off and the ball finally rests over here next to the trap door in the Bogenhafen Barons half of the field. At the same time, cheering fans was the result of the kickoff result. And so because my friend Mama Khan won the actual roll-off on that one, got a prayer from Nuffle on that one, getting Fouling Frenzy, which means that any of your players manage to foul, they'll earn 2 star player points if they manage to foul and put a casualty on that player as well. So now that we have the kickoff results over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 4 for the Bogenhafen Barons. Alright, so that brings directly to the top of turn number 4 for the Bogenhafen Barons. And unfortunately for my friend King Khalifa, one of his linemen, player number 12, Herman Tuber, he actually tries to pull a blitz trying to open up the wide zone here on the bottom of the side. Unfortunately got a player down result, so because of that, he does fall down. Luckily, his armor is not penetrated and he just suffers no injury, but it causes immediate turnover for the Bogenhafen Barons. Right, so it takes directly to the top of turn number 5 for the Thundervalley Greenskins, and Mama Khan gets activated next. And as you can see, because she only has one, my friend King Cleve only has one player in the wide zone here, pretty much was able to kind of open up a little opening here between the lane mine Scourge as well as the wide field. As you can see, player number 7, Black Orc number 7, that player's name is Garak, I believe that is, oh sorry, Urk Headtaker. I believe that's his name. Yeah, Urk Headtaker. He basically does a blitz action directly into play. Player number 7, which is Rose Tabak, manages to push her out of the way and create an opening for the rest of the goblins to go through. So as you can see here, player number 4, that's character name is Grim Gut Art Ed, as well as players number 10 and 11 as well, Bernak and Golka. They move up as quick as they can, trying to pick up the ball right next to the end of the line of scrimmage over there. At the same time, over here on the top as well, as we have players number 2, as well as player number 3, Black Orcs Gribrata the Invincible, as well as player number 3, Huge Fist Edkraka. They actually managed to push back player number 4 from the Bogenhafen Barons, which is player's name is Sigrid Verts. At the same time, also put a knockout result as well onto onto Cedric Verts, which is the, I'm sorry, not the Cedric Verts, I do apologize. Loopold Schwalb, which is the lineman over there as well, managed to put a stun result on him and managed to take him out. Now, of course, as they're breaking through, of course, unfortunately for my friend Mama Khan, unfortunately, player number 8, Aggut, which is one of the Goblin Bruisers, does try to do a blocking action directly into player number 8, Jenna Edelhoff. Managed to get a player down result, penetrate his armor, and he is also stunned as well. And that pretty much makes up the activations for turn number 5 for the Thundervalley Greenskins. Alright, so that takes us directly to turn number 5 for the Bogenhafen Barons. As you can see, some interesting things have developed on the battlefield. First of all, this player over here, this is player number 12. He's a lineman. That's player number 12, Harmon Tuber. Harmon Tuber actually gets up and actually moves 3 squares over to kind of open himself up for a pass. And what ended up happening is that my friend King Khalifa decided to activate player number 1, which is Leo Utenbach, one of his throwers. He actually moves into the square, manages to pick up the ball, and does attempt to do a pass with a -2 modifier. He tries to throw it directly to the lineman over there, who is wide open, so that way he can go ahead and make a touchdown. Unfortunately for my friend King Khalifa, though, Goblin Bruiser, player number 10, that is Bernak, he deflects the shot, and not only does he deflect the throw, but he also manages to score a 5-up on his agility test and manages to get an interception. So just like that, he earns 3 player points for himself, causing immediate turnover and directly to go over to the Thundervalley Greenskins, and we'll come back to see exactly what ends up happening for turn number 6 for the Black Orcs. Alright, so the next top directly of turn number 6 for Mama Khan with her Thundervalley Greenskins. The first thing that she's actually doing is actually activating player number 2. That's Black Orc player Grumbrata the Invincible. He actually did a foul directly onto player number 3. That was the lineman Loopold Schwalb. Actually managed to get a casualty on that guy as well, and actually suffered a serious injury, which means that he'll miss out his next game, as well as suffering a niggling injury as well. And because the Fouling Frenzy method has been played on that one, that character, Black Orc player number 2, Grumbrata the Invincible, he actually gets 2 more additional star player points as well. Meanwhile, over here in the top, player number 4, Black Orc player number 4, Grim Gut Art Ed, he actually does a blitz directly into player number 1, Leo Utenbach, the thrower for the Bogenhafen Barons. Actually manages to push him back, creating a stumble effect, actually making a power result, pushing him back, and also kind of like putting him prone as well. Because that created an opening which allowed player number 10 for the Goblins, Goblin Bruiser Bernak, to actually make a touchdown number 2 for the Thundervalley Greenskins. So just like that, the Thundervalley Greenskins are now leading at 2 touchdowns to 0 for the Bogenhafen Baron for the first half. So because that, my friends will re-rack their players and prepare for another drive. Alright, that takes us to another drive, and as you can see, once again, the Thundervalley Greenskins are totally on the offensive on this one, putting up all their players along the line of scrimmage. At the same time, we also have one player in each end zone backing up with the rest of the linemen, as well as the Ogre, directly in the center of the battlefield. The reason why that is the case is because, unfortunately for my buddy King Cleve, he's got 2 players who are currently out. So the kickoff result does go back and results in a touchback because the ball actually bounces directly into the end zone for the receiving team. So because of that, cause a touchback. So player number 1, which is the thrower, Leo Utenbach, actually gets possession of the ball. And at the same time, the kickoff result was get the ref, so both teams actually have a bribe inducement that they can use until the end of this drive, which is only going to last about 2 turns anyways, but at the same time, though, they could probably put some hurting on each other's team. So now that we're done with that, we go directly to the top of turn number 6 for the Bogenhafen Barons. Alright, so it takes directly to the top of turn number 6 for the Bogenhafen Barons. As you can see, most of the action is taking place here on the bottom wide zone. As you can see, they're kind of pushing right through the Goblin linemen for the blockers right here in the center, trying to make a hole so that way they can run the ball through. At the same time, both throwers for the Bogenhafen Barons kind of position themselves right here, so that way they can kind of take advantage of that and actually push through for the most part. Meanwhile, probably up here on the top, though, this eventually was the very last action on this one. Let me go and zoom in a little bit closer real quick. Player number 8, her name is Jenna Edelhoff, was able to put a stun result directly onto Bernac, player number 10, for the Thundervalley Greenskins, so because he is currently stunned as well. And that pretty much makes up turn number 6 for the Bogenhafen Barons. Alright, so it takes directly to turn number 7 for the Thundervalley Greenskins, and for the most part, the most significant action took right player right in the middle of the table. First of all, the Train Troll Slotnith Rock Gouger project vomit directly into the Ogre player, player number X, does get the Pillager for the Bogenhafen Blitzers, Bogenhafen Barons. So because that went through his armor value, actually caused a stun result. So because of that, Mama Khan then picked player number 5, Black Orc player number 5, which is Grimka Weird Skull, who did a fouling action directly in him with a assist from one of the players right against the line. So because that went through the armor, actually caused a knockout result. So because of that, does get the Pillagers actually put directly into the knockout box, and you have to wait to the end of the drive in order to come back in again. Now they were caught because he did roll a double on that armor value, but they used their bribe inducement in order to get that taken care of, and that pretty much ends the turn for turn number 7 for the Thundervalley Greenskins. Alright, so that takes directly to turn number 7 for the Imperial Nobility team, the Bogenhafen Barons. When this happens, my buddy King Cleveland then activates player number 1. That's his thrower, Leo Utenbach, who actually tries to move out of the marked tackle zone for player number 4. Grim got R-deaded, but unfortunately for him, though, he fails his agility test, which caused the ball to stumble over to the empty square and causing immediate turnover for the Thundervalley Greenskins. Alright, so that takes directly to turn number 8 for the Thundervalley Greenskins, and once again, a pretty short-lived actual turn. Player number 4, Grimgold the Art-Edited, does try to pick up the ball, but unfortunately though he fumbles it, so because it bounces over one more square and causes immediate turnover as well. And so with that, my friend King Cleaver realizes he's not going to be able to make a touchdown for this turn, so he decides to just take a knee, and that takes care of the first half of the Blood Bowl game between the Bogenhafen Barons as well as the Thundervalley Greenskins. Alright, so that takes directly to the second half of the game between the Bogenhafen Barons as well as the Thundervalley Greenskins. The Thundervalley Greenskins right now have a 2-0 lead right now on top of the Bogenhafen Barons. And the Bogenhafen Barons, of course, are currently right now on the receiving end of the ball. So as you can see, once again, Mama Khan has stacked up her entire team along the entire length of the line of scrimmage. It's been a play that's been working out pretty good for her so far, so she's continuing on with it with Goblin Bruisers up on the line as well. At the same time, as you can see right here, the ball has landed right here directly, somewhat in the middle of the receiving ends team. Now the result on this one allowed D3 plus 3 receiving players to actually move up one squared 4. So as you can see here, the players have now lined up primarily along the line of scrimmage, and the throwers have moved up one square as well. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 1 for the Bogenhafen Barons in the second half. So that takes directly to turn number 1 for the Bogenhafen Barons for the second half. And as you can see, some dramatic action has taken place here on the tabletop. First of all, some lineman was able to push back a Goblin player out of the way, which made a nice little hole for player number 12. That is lineman Herman Tuber, who actually moved up his maximum allowance, passing his initiative test twice to get out of tackle zone of both of these Black Orc players directly towards the middle of the end zone, towards the end zone for the Thundervalley Greenskins. Now, the most impressive part of this, however, was player number 1. Player number 1 actually moved into the spot in order to pick up the ball and was able to pass his initiative test to get that. So because that Leo Utenbach does come possession of the ball, and using his running pass ability, actually threw the ball all the way across the table directly towards Herman Tuber, who actually managed to catch it with a perfect 6 without using a reroll whatsoever. So because of that, Leo Utenbach has actually earned himself an additional star player point as well. And the crazy part was, the ball almost did get deflected. However, though, Mama Khan rolled a 1 for one of her players, so because of the ball made a complete pass on that one. Now, the turn actually ended when bodyguard number 5, that player's name is Gospert Bear, does try to throw a blocking directly into this Black Orc player number 5 as well, Weird Skull, but unfortunately got a player down result and causing an immediate turnover. And that pretty much makes up turn number 1 for the Bogenhafen Barons for the second half. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 for the second half for the Thundervalley Greenskins. And the first thing that ends up happening is that Mamikon actually activates Goblin player number 10. That character's name is Bernak, who does a blitz action all the way from the line of scrimmage directly into Harmon Tuber. Actually does manage to get a power result as well. Doesn't actually break his armor, but does come him to move back, which also causes the ball to bounce up 1 square as well. Now, unfortunately for Mamikon, though, she does try to activate Goblin player number 8, which is this poor guy over here. Goblin player number 8, his name is Akgut. He tries to actually do a dodge in order to get out of the tackle zone for this player in order to make his way directly down to catch the ball. But unfortunately, though, he stumbles, so because that causes immediate turnover as well. Unfortunately for turn number 2, my friend King Khalifa did forget to move his turn marker, so because he was actually going to go to try to pick up his lineman, but because he failed to do that, it causes immediate turnover, and he also loses his turn as well. So because of that, we go directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Thundervalley Greenskins. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 2 for the second half of the Thundervalley Greenskins, and as you can see here, some dynamic action has taken place. As you can see, for the most part, most of the players have basically kind of blitz as well as move through the line of scrimmage, creating a corridor for player number 10, Bernak, in order to make his way directly down the end zone. As you can see, they've pushed people as well as threw them down as well. However, the big play, however, took place up here at the top. This Goblin player does try to throw a blocking action directly into this lineman. Unfortunately, they both get a knockdown results because they both go down and cause an immediate turnover for turn number 2 for the Thundervalley Greenskins. Alright, so that takes us directly to the bottom of turn number 3 for the second half for the Bogenhafen Barons, and as you can see, quite a bit of action has taken place for the most part. What ended up happening is that most of the players have pretty much stood up on their own, just kind of like occupying their own positions, heading directly as best they can to go directly after Bernak, which is player number 10. For example, player number 12, Harmon Tuber, managed to get back on his feet and move 3 blocks directly towards him in order to intercept him. Same thing with player number 1, Leo Utenbach, the thrower, also moved into position as well to try to go after him as well. However, in the end, the thing that caused a turnover there was player number 4, which is a blitzer named Sigric Verts. He tries to try to move past the tackle zone of the Black Orc up there, but unfortunately for him, though, he failed his agility test, so he stumbles, causing immediate turnover and also ending turn number 3 for the Bogenhafen Barons. Alright, so it takes us directly to turn number 3 for the Thundervalley Greenskins, and as you can see, a lot of action has taken place on the pitch for the most part. So let's go and talk about some of the things that occurred. First of all, we have this player basically pushing down this thrower over here in the top, so that way he's not going anywhere as well. At the same time, with this player throwing a pow directly into this lineman and also pushing him back, making a safe corridor, as you can see here, for player number 10 to pretty much slip through, making his way directly towards the end zone. At the same time, player number 7, that his name is Varaka is his name, he actually throws does a blitz action directly onto player number 1, Leo Utenbach, actually causing him to be knocked out and put into the knockout box by pushing him directly into the crowd. At the same time, the trained troll over here, trained troll player number X, Slotnith Rockgouger, actually projectile vomits directly into player number X, Dozgub the Pillager, the Ogre for the Bogenhafen Barons, actually penetrates his armor and breaks it and puts a knockout result as well. So as you can see right here, 3 players of the Bogenhafen Barons are currently knocked out, with 1 currently out as well with a serious injury. So right now the team is getting really beaten up for the most part as well. And as you can see here, most of the other players just kind of move into position. Looks like they're sweeping from the top of the end zone here, making their way directly downward. Also crossing the midway line, heading directly into the defensive areas for the Bogenhafen Barons. It's not looking good right now for my buddy King Khalifa. Alright, so that takes us to the top of turn number 4 for the Bogenhafen Barons. And as you can see, player number 12, Harmon Tuber, does try to go after player number 10, Bernak. He actually does a pretty good job weaving through and actually dodging all the tackle zones for this Black Orc player down here, and actually goes for it one more time in order to try to tackle him. But unfortunately, though, when he goes for the tackle, he actually gets a player down, so because that causes immediate turnover and all kinds of tragedy right now for my friend King Khalifa. So with that being said, we go directly to the Thundervalley Greenskins. And unfortunately for my buddy King Khalifa, he got overly excited, was trying to move his player, but he forgot to move his turn marker. So because of that, he does lose his turn, and it causes immediate turnover to go directly back to the Bogenhafen Barons, as crazy as that may sound. Alright, so that takes our turn number 5 for the Bogenhafen Barons, and as you can see in this part, a lot of dramatic action took place down over here on this side of the battlefield for the most part. As you can see here, both these linemen actually try to do, actually the female lineman, that's player number 8, Jenna Adelhoff, actually tries to do a blitz action directly into Bernak. Unfortunately, she only got a push result, so he only managed to push him directly down closer to the crowd area, which is kind of dangerous because if he does get pushed into the crowd, Bernak will could get injured by the crowd attacking him. At the same time, she pretty much just stood up the rest of of his members of his team, so King Khalifa is pretty much done with that aspect as well, and that pretty much makes up turn number 5 for the Bogenhafen Barons. Alright, so it takes directly to turn number 5 for the Thundervalley Greenskins. What ends up happening is that player number 7 actually throws a blitz directly into player number 8, Jenna Adelhoff Maxter, pushes her out of the way as well. As you can see, some more Black Orcs also swarm up as well. Another dynamic play that was actually played was actually player number 5, that is Grimka Weirdskul. He actually manages to do a block action directly into player number 2, Axelbrand Kramer, which is the thrower for the Bogenhafen Barons. Actually managed to put a knockout result on him as well. So just like that, 4 members of this team are in the knockout box, which is really bad because there's not very many players left on this team, left on the pitch. However, because they're able to do that, though, it did free up player number 10, Bernak, the Goblin Lineman, who actually goes for it twice and makes it twice, using up all the rerolls for my friend Mama Khan, using up her last reroll to get the last box through, and managed to score a 3rd touchdown for the Thundervalley Greenskins. So right now, the Thundervalley Greenskins are leading right now with a score to 3-0 right now. And at this point, though, my friend King Khalifa realizes there's no way he's going to be able to make up a pitch, so he decides to call the game at this point and decides to forfeit, bringing a victory for the Thundervalley Greenskins in the New World Conference. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go directly to the post game because this game is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, so first of all is the post-game for the Bogenhafen Barons, which is played by my friend King Khalifa, his Imperial Nobility team. So first of all, for the outcomes, he lost the game, and he conceded the game with 0 touchdowns, which also earned him 1 additional league point, which is actually kind of cool for him. At the same time, for his winnings, he did manage to scrounge up 30,000 gold pieces, and for his dedicated fan base, he actually had no increase for his dedicated fans. Now, when it came for his injuries, lineman player number 3, Leupold Schwab, he did get a serious injury, so because of that, he does suffer a niggling injury, as well as miss out his next game as well. Now, for advancements, Axelbrand Kramer, player number 2, his thrower, actually leveled to level 2, actually earning the most valuable player award for his team, earning 4 star player points. And with that, he learned on the ball skill and also increased his value by 10,000 gold pieces. Now, for his 30,000 gold pieces, he placed all 30,000 of it directly into his treasure to use later on. His current record now is at 0 wins and 1 loss, and his new team rating is at 1,020 points. Now we move on to Mama Khan's team, the Thundervalley Greenskins, or Black Orcs team. For the outcome, she actually won the game, earning 3 league points, and not only that, but she also managed to score 3 touchdowns, also earning an additional league point, bringing her league points up to 4. For her winnings, she managed to scrounge up 60,000 gold pieces and also managed to increase her dedicated fan base by 1 additional point, bringing that value up to 2. Now, she actually suffered no injuries in this game. However, though, she did have 3 advancements take place. Black Orc player number 2, Grumbata the Invincible, actually leveled up to level 2, learning the guard skill and increasing his value by 10,000 gold pieces. Black Orc player number 3, Huge Fist Ed Kraka, also leveled up to level 2 as well, learning the fend skill and are increasing his value by 10,000 gold pieces. And then finally, Goblin Bruiser player number 10, Bernak, leveled to level 2, as well as learning the leader skill, earning 20,000 gold pieces to his value as well. And I forgot to mention, player number 3, Huge Fist Headcracker, actually got the MVP on this one, and that's why he leveled up. Now, continuing on from there, when it comes to our inducements, my friend Mama Khan actually spent all 60,000 of her gold pieces in order to purchase a 3rd reroll for her team. Her current record now is at 1 win and 0 losses, and her new rating now is at 1,100 points. So there you guys have it. That makes up game number 2 of our Blue League, and also finishing the very first game for our New World Conference. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys' input is valuable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.